So why do human beings put themselves above everybody else in the ecosystem, right? Now imagine that I'm in a war with somebody, okay? Or let's imagine that we are in prehistoric times and I have to fight to survive because I'm a caveman. I have to fight to survive. If I don't, I'll become somebody's food. The only way I can survive is by letting that become my food or by killing that, right? Saving myself in some way or other. So when you get stuck in that survival space, it is always the struggle of power. Who's going to win over whom? I need to live, so you need to die. Because if I allow you to live, I will die. Somewhere we are still holding on to that collective energy of fear consciousness that we've had. I think we might have evolved in time in terms of physical appearance, in terms of our thinking ability, but in terms of our subconscious fears, which is there as a cellular memory. And I think that and that cellular memory is still connected to every vibration that collective was holding on to. I think that cellular memory keeps repeating itself for us because we are not out of fear. We are still in that fear collective. We are still in that consciousness because everything around us is fear. Look at the news channels today. What are they showing? Right? You go to a hospital. What are your doctors telling you? I'm not saying give false advices or false hope. Hope is never false, right? Hope is a reality which you still haven't experienced, which means you can experience it someday. Hope comes from that belief that this is going to happen. So it's really, really important for us to understand that this sense of superiority that we have is something that is coming from our need to survive. We want to survive. We are like, if I'm not going to kill that person, or if I'm not going to take over that space, or if I'm not able to control that thing, that environment, that situation, that person, then I'm going to be taken over by that situation, that circumstances, that environment, which means I will lose control, which means I will lose identity, which means I am at the mercy of somebody else. Fear gives rise to ego, and our ego is the one that's a defense mechanism of fear, and this ego is the one that says, stay at the top. You are at the top, believe that you're at the top. Because if you believe that you're at the top, then it's a placebo effect. If you believe you're the king, you're the king. So in schools we teach students we are at the top of the food chain, right? We are at the top of the pyramid. We evolved from apes to human beings. We always teach in schools, we learn how from being inferior we become superior. So this whole sense of fall confidence, superiority, that we are supreme, starts at that level, in school itself. Somewhere we have to understand that that is a perception, not a reality. That is a perception we have chosen to believe because we want to survive. Is it wrong to have that perception? No, not at all, if it is not impacting your environment and others who coexist with you in your ecosystem in a negative manner. Is this perception of if this so-called narrative that we believe to be our reality is somewhere bringing in destruction, is disintegrating the harmony in our ecosystem, is disrupting the balance in our ecosystem, then we need to sit down and ask ourselves, am I really superior? Because if we don't, there will be a point when none of it is going to be there, and we'll sit and we're going to be superior compared to whom? You need some comparison to be superior, right? A lion might believe that it is superior to a deer might believe that it is superior to a frog might believe it is superior to a snail. But if snail is not there, how is frog going to feel that it is superior? If deer is not there, how lion's going to feel it's superior? So this whole sense of superiority is induced into us. It's a perception, it's a narrative that gets created, that is built from the time we are born, in fact, prior to that also, in our mother's womb. So it's a very good question, because this also makes us think, why are we stuck here? Why are we stuck in this mind space of I am superior? We are not.